Okay, welcome for our last and final tutorial for our Moto Jacket. We've still got our sleeve to prepare in patterns. So there we go. Over here, looking at our technical line drawing. In this case, we only have the front view, which makes the sleeve look as if it is one full piece. And that could be just fine. That may be how we want to go ahead and do that. But if you ever look at any Moto jackets, typically they will have a style line separating the back section or the back half of the sleeve. So from the top shoulder area, the double notch indicates this is our back half, and kind of dividing it into two or so. So we're going to go ahead and practice that. It just gives us more practice with our tools. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Some adjustments here that we're going to make. We don't need our elbow dart in here, so I am going to make a couple changes here, meaning that I'm going to pull these points up and kind of in, angling it somewhat so that we're minimizing that dart. We did kind of lift this bottom edge somewhat. We're going to come down here and adjust that in a minute. Other thing, we're going to go ahead and just get rid of this. We're going to have a little bit of a longer distance on the back, but that is sometimes typical on patterns to give it a little ease through the back area. Now we can work on straightening up our bottom edge here by kind of bringing that point in, or even electing to get rid of some of these extra points. I'm kind of bringing this corner up. Again, that'll shorten that gap or distance of that shoulder or elbow dart. And getting rid of some of all these other anchor points. I don't really need them. I'm using my grid here to take a look at some of my other distances, and actually overall I think we're in pretty good shape. So I'm going to zoom out here with that pattern piece. Actually, I did wind up removing some of those anchor points, but I will probably need to put another one back in, and I'm eyeballing it here for my style line. I'm going to put one here, and I'm going to go ahead and cut that one at this point. And scrolling up, I think that I will go ahead and cut my pattern piece on that line. So now we can see that we've got a portion here of our pattern, and I'm going to use my pen tool and pick up drawing on this one. I am just eyeballing my style line here from point to point. That's going to be fine. That takes care of that section. And over here I put one anchor point on that style line when I was drawing it. So if I find that one, select that anchor point, and before I do that, actually, I want to go ahead and draw my little notches. So let me zoom in here and just find a spot to put them. Go back to my segment tool. There we go. 1 and 2. There we go. Now zooming out. Get my direct select tool, find that anchor point. Where did it go? There it is. Selecting that one. When I select that anchor point, it gets both segments on either side. I'm going to collect those. I'm also going to add to my selection by clicking on that. Command copy, Command paste in front. All right, somehow I did not get the rest of that. I think I know why. Let me just click on that part of my segment and copy, Command paste in front. Now I am going to have that segment selected. I'm going to add that segment and each of these to my overall selection here, as well as these notches and that side of my sleeve. Zoom out, and we're going to use our keyboard arrows to move that over. There we go. And all of this over here can go the other direction. Actually, my bicep line, I don't really need it. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of it. And then making sure that I've got the perimeter, all notches, my grain line and center guideline. I'm going to just move it further over, just so it separates things a little bit. Now we've got to check out where we have things not joined, and you can see that the style line is not joined. It's also segmented there. So we've got to join it all as one to better or more easily add our seam allowance. So by zooming way in, I can see that those are not connected. It's where my join tool comes in handy over those 2 points. Seems like the corner points, they join quite easily. Right there. Now then, my other one though is, let's see here. All right, I can select those. I saw that those were separated, but by going ahead and doing my keyboard, or I'm not keyboard, by going path average, say OK, and path join functions, I get one single point. If I use my join tool and drag between the 2 points, both points stay in place and I join a segment in between. So these 2 points here, I'm going to go ahead and actually get rid of one of them. And this one I can convert to just a slight arc to it all. It softens that whole edge there. Oops, meant to zoom out. And on this sleeve part, let's see what is selected when I do that. It is, remember when we picked up with our pen and drew it as a closed path. Good. The only other thing I really need is this guideline right there. I don't really need it on the pattern, but I do want a notch up here at the center top, so I can use my line segment tool and just draw one over that. I'm going to go ahead and increase its weight to 2 so it looks like the others. That guideline I can go ahead and remove. And zoom out. Let's see, what else can we do with this here? I'm going to select my grain line. I can hold down my Alt Option key and bring the grain line on over to my side or under sleeve. Okay, this would be my top sleeve and this will be my under sleeve. Now on some Moto jackets, what you'll find is like a little zipper in this area. So let's go ahead and zoom in and give ourselves some a segment line through here. Let's try this. I'm going to make my piece about the same size or width like what I did on my pockets for my zipper. So 0.5, and what did we say, about 5 inches long. That actually looks kind of small, but that's all right. We're going to go ahead and use that. You know what? I am going to extend it, keep it the same width, but extend it somewhat. I'm going to bring it over here to my sleeve part, and I kind of want to angle it just so it runs a little more parallel to my seam there. And going to move it to where it still overlaps just slightly right down here. And these 2 pieces, let's use our Pathfinder part, and we want to minus the one in front. So this was the last one I drew, and I want to cut it out of that shape. So by doing that, now my shape goes up and around for my zipper cutout. Zoom. Okay. I'm just about done here. Let's see. Let's clean these up, move them over. There we go. All right. I'm also going to go ahead. Whoops. I need to object path, offset my path. I'm going to go back to my full 1/2 inch seam allowance right around here. Make my dashed line. There we go. Same thing on this one. Now, I'm getting sidetracked here. Give me just a second. Path, offset path. Click OK. And this one goes to the dashed line. All right, so in this area, I actually want this to be more of a cut line. All right, on that perimeter. So I will probably break these, break this line, cutting it, bring these points on down, and change that back to a solid line. So let's do that fairly quickly. Cut, cut. Ooh. This one, we need to add some points. Looks like we've got some right about where we want them. Cut and cut. Okay, we're going to get rid of that segment. I'm just going to shift those over a little bit so they're more in line. This one. Okay, and there we go. Let's see here. This, take the dash line off of it. Go back to, and now I should be able to join those anchor points. There we go. So then that has my cutout for my zipper. Okay. The only thing that I really didn't walk you through on a lot of this was the fact that we probably, before we split this, should have made a bottom facing for around the sleeve and then had it separate where those are around the pocket or around where the zipper place is. Remember, our front here is working. We'll cut 4 of them so that 2 of them act as our facing. Around our back neckline, we'll probably want to do a facing that helps finish off the collar. Pattern pieces could also be replicated in lining patterns or in lining fabric underneath in order to line the jacket on the inside. That's another option, but that's a little bit further or can be looked at in your pattern making textbook in the chapter that covers linings. I'm not going to go into it in this part. I think you all have developed a lot of patterns for this, taking it from start to finish. Now, I did say this was our last tutorial, but I would have one more where I would like to show you the pattern record card form if we haven't done that one before, or I may just have that as directions on the lesson page. Be sure that you finish these out with adding your identifiers, annotations to your pattern pieces. Save your file and then upload that. Make sure your name is in your file name so that I know whose is whose. If you have any questions, please email me. I'm happy to try and make arrangements and get online with you and be able to observe what you're doing in Illustrator if you are having some difficulties or challenges. But good luck with everything, and you're doing a great job.